Dear participants, thank you for coming to the session Sustainability Training and Education. This is National SDG Roundtable organized by IRDO Institute for the Development of Social Responsibility from Slovenia and our partners, organizations and experts from different fields. Next slide, please, Tomislav, if I may ask you. Thank you. As you can see, I'm Anita Hrast. I'm moderator of this session, and I'm also manager of IRDO Institute for the Development of Social Responsibility from Slovenia. Here you can see what is our agenda for today. And our language of this National SDG Roundtable is English. So you are welcome to express your interests, knowledge, experiences in our chat on the right side. Write our questions for our session, and we will try to answer it and make discussion with other participants too. So next slide, please, Tomislav. As you see, I mentioned several times Tomislav. He is our co-moderator of the session. So thank you, Tomislav, for being with us. And he's also one of the speakers. So next slide, please. And I would like to present you speakers of our roundtable today. With us is Matjaž Mulej, Professor Emeritus, 2 times Doctor of System Theory and Innovation. He is also President of Expert and Research Boards at IRDO Institute and Professor Emeritus at Faculty of Economics and Business from University of Maribor in Slovenia. Next, please. Tomislav, thank you. With our session is also Vesna Lešnik-Štefotić, lecturer and IRDO member. She is also a lecturer at several other faculties. And Martina Rauter, she is also a lecturer and IRDO member, and both are self-employed. And thank you for being with us today. Next, please. And here are 3 other speakers. Lucija Glavič, she's coming from Equilib Institute, also national partner organization from CSR Europe, like IRDO is, and she's their CSR manager. And there is also with us Professor Roberto Biloslava, PhD he has, and he's also head of Sustainable Development Management Program from University of Primorska Faculty of Management at Koper in Slovenia, and he's also in Renew Co-Research Institute expert. And Tomislav Rozman, he has PhD and he is CEO at Bicero company from Slovenia. Thank you to all of our speakers today. Next, please. So we would like to kindly invite you to co-create this session. You are muted, so you can talk only via chat on the right side of the session, and you just share your knowledge, expressions, opinions, and so on. And we would like to see what you know about this topic that we will talk today. Next, please. So what is the purpose of our session today? There are several documents that are increasingly being incorporated into legislation of member states in European Union. There are companies and other organizations who has to incorporate these fields of knowledge into their practice to strengthen their sustainable development and social responsibility. So there is a competitive advantage if we use those topics in our daily practice in companies and other organizations, but there are also a lot of documents that we have to know, including Agenda 2030, Changing the World, and our 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Next, please. There are needs for knowledge development in organizations. There we need to know how successfully manage our daily practice, how to coordinate these fields of knowledge within organization, and how to qualify managers and experts, coordinators on those fields. There is a lot of diverse knowledge on this topic and international and national certificates to gain, some trainings, formal and non-formal educational programs, and about all this we will try to talk today. Next, please. So the purpose of our roundtable is to see what we are doing in Slovenia on this topic, what are good training practices, what certificates and education programs we can obtain, and what participants from companies and other organizations know about the field, how the knowledge, skills, and education are incorporated into organizations, and what needs managers for this field have. Next, please. So like we said, here is our first speaker, Matjaž Mulej, Professor Emeritus. And I would like, for next slide, please, ask you, Tomislav. And Matjaž, can you talk now and present your view on the topic today? Thank you. So Matjaž, we cannot hear you. I would like to ask you to unmute yourself.
Now okay? Now
yes, now we can hear you. You just are free to talk. Thank you.
Besides publishing books under IRDO program, I used to teach and still feel like a professor of systems innovation theory. In this capacity, I see in social responsibility a global effort of the current humankind to end the current neoliberal detrimental monopolistic abuse of free market and democracy. There are three basic items: responsibility for one's impact on humankind and nature, replacing the dominating irresponsibility. There is also interdependence, replacing the fiction of independence, and the resistance approach, replacing the one-sidedness. And this is what humankind has put into ISO 26000 on the global level. To support these three needs, the 7 principles are quoted in ISO 26000. They support these attributes and they are applied to all human, individual, organization, and social activities. So they are summarizing 7 basic points. And what is important, we should not wait only for companies, but as customers, we always may demand these attributes and have them happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Matjaž. May I make a question for you?
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Why do you think social responsibility is so important for managers to know about?
Well, it's important to realize that the document on ISO 26000 was passed only 2 years after the bad crisis of 2008, after more than 10 years of effort to do it, which means I connect the two. So I see this as a global decision to find the way out of the current socioeconomic crisis by social responsibility, to replace the old basis of bad behavior, which in the good markets have been showing up anyway. And if you take a look at the documents, other documents of the United Nations and the European Union, you'll see there are quite some basis on paper for social responsibility to become not applied only in companies, but also in entire societies. So our last book so far was about the socially responsible society.
Okay, thank you very much, Matjaž. Later we will ask you for some more opinions about the situation. Thank you. Next slide, please, Tomislav. Thank you. Next one, please. So what we have to discuss at the first group of questions: what knowledge, competencies, and education must a leader have for social responsibility and sustainable development? Who in Slovenia educates in this field? How the companies can recruit in the field of social responsibility and sustainable development? What are the payments for such jobs? Where in the structure of the organization is this type of job positioned, and what is the job description, and how much experience should such a leader have? So next slide, please, Tomislav, I would like to ask you. And Vesna Lešnik-Štefotić, I ask you to present your view on the questions and maybe what we did already at IRDO Institute. So Tomislav, next slide, please. Thank you. And okay. Vesna, you can talk. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Anita. So I will present educational program on social responsibility and sustainable development at IRDO. In 2016 at IRDO, this program for managers or leaders on social responsibility and sustainable development was introduced. The attendees can obtain certificate when they pass the written exam and prepare agreed homework. The program incorporates different topics and views on social responsibility and sustainable development, and is available in offline, blended, and now also only online version due to the epidemic. Usually the synchronous part with lectures, workshops, discussions, etc. lasts 3 working days. Then there is a part of individual work, homework, and written exam, and the day for the awarding certificates. The focus of the program is on sharing good practices among attendees, and special attention is devoted to young people or young graduates and to the applicants for the prize Horus. Young people can attend the program free of charge. All attendees are also invited to attend the annual meeting of all certified managers to refresh their knowledge with news and trends in the field. We had a pleasant annual meeting on 25th of September in dual mode, so some were physical present and some were online. Where best practices and one of the Horus winner organization was presented and provoked a vivid discussion among participants. Till now, we have 138 certified managers on social responsibility and sustainable development at IRDO. This is my short presentation about our program.
Thank you very much, Vesna. I would next, please. Yes, Tomislav. I would just like to express here where we will see ISO standard overall scheme of it, where there are topics, there are also principles, there are how to integrate social responsibility into the curriculum program or program of the organization. We at IRDO based our training program on the ISO standard and also some global reporting initiative issues, some EFQM, Global Compact, OECD, ILO organizations. So we somehow prepared a kind of overview what one should know to manage very well this field of knowledge. So next slide, please, Tomislav. There is also a need, there was a need at Horus Slovenian Award for Social Responsibility, where we did a kind of education before our certification program for Horus appliers, where we tried to give them some basic knowledge how to apply for the award. And we saw that if they got some strategic overview of the social responsibility and sustainable development knowledge, they knew how to make integration of this knowledge into the organization. So these are the basics that we included, and here you can see some certificated persons. At first, we tried to make it only live program training, and then this year we had to make it also online only. So Vesna, here on the page, we can see you and me and first of a group. Maybe you can comment shortly.
Yeah, it was very good experience with the first group. So we had motivation to go on with this. So they were really also already experienced at this topic, and there was really a lot of exchange of views and best practices among them, and therefore we focus also in the future and in the next educations to bring together participants and to exchange the best practices. I think this is very, very important. Okay, yes. Not just theory, but really practice.
Great. Thank you very much, Vesna. Now I would like, next slide, yes, Martina to talk. Martina, floor is yours. You can express your vision of this training and maybe some others.
Yes, thank you, Anita, for the word. I would first like to thank you, Anita, then Professor Dr. Matjaž Mule and Vesna to start this certificate program, which I find very, very useful, and I'm really enthusiastic about developing the program in the future. So and thank you that I can be part of this certificate. So just to present myself a little bit, I am self-employed now for 3 years. My keen is storytelling, so it's a new approach in marketing and PR, like not just doing the classic PR, but making stories about this. Then I'm also a lecturer, and lately I really found my passion in personal responsibility. So it came through discussion with Anita and 2 young psychologists, my colleagues. So I really started to develop a kind of mathematic model on personal responsibility. So my lectures and at the moment also my research work focuses on 3 key questions. What is the contribution of personally responsible individual to social responsibility? So from personal to social, but what is a contribution of personally responsible individual? Then what if personal sovereignty, and how is it related to personal responsibility and personal well-being? So I come from the starting point like personal sovereignty, which means like if one feels good within himself, is really related then to another 2 steps like responsibility and then at the end well-being of an individual. And the third question, which already comes from personal to social, is like what is best for me is also best for my family, my co-workers, my work and environment. So I start with personal responsibility and go on to social responsibility. Well, although personal responsibility primarily means to be responsible for what you think, you say, you decide to do, this teaches us also social responsibility. Personal responsibility always must be placed in a social context. Why? Because we all individuals are a part of society. We are all part of social groups, and we on day-to-day basis interact with other people. So the goal of personal action must always be to contribute from their point of view of personal to social well-being. So it's shortly what I lecture also in the certificate and what actually became passion in last years. I started with quality of life as my PhD thesis, but I think this giving people and lecturing about personal responsibility is very important in the time that is coming also with this health crisis and all the challenges we are focusing. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Martina.
Anita, we have two questions in the chat.
Yes.
Can I try to respond to them briefly?
Yes, you're welcome, please.
The first one is by Corinne Fennick, and she would like to correct the problem of unethical decision-making. Well, our most recent research relates us to the marketing, which teaches us that customers are always right. So if customers demand socially responsible behavior or go away from the customer list, then this will happen. And to the second one, complicated is impact. Yes, measuring the impact of social responsibility is very hard if we don't take the concept of unhappening costs and unhappening problems, because what is being done by social responsibility is preventing the problems, so they don't show up in bookkeeping because they have not happened, but in the pre-calculation they did have a role which then disappears because the good result erases them before bookkeeping comes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matthias. I hope, Corinne and Hussein, that Matthias answered to your questions. If not, just you are welcome to write more. So now, next slide, please, Tomislav. So we would like to show you what is our view of what CSR managers are responsible for. They should define and develop strategies about support to company CSR goals, accompany research, present ideas, develop policies, and draw up detailed plans, co-create relationships with partner organizations, implement and coordinate a number of activities and initiatives designed to create a positive impact on the environment and the local community. Next slide, please.
Oh, stop. There's one point missing,
yes,
which is manager's role is to help people to be listened and to listen to others. Because by differences, we are completing each other up. And if they don't care for listening, not too much can happen.
Yeah. So I see that there are two questions for Martina. So Martina, can you unmute yourself and talk, please? Yes.
Yes, I'm trying to do this. I already wanted to write back to Mariana and Hussein. I think the timing about, to speak about personal responsibility is really great. I mean, we cannot choose better timing. And actually, I don't go on managers as Hussein asked, but we also have in this certificate managers, right, Anita? We had some people like from the top of the companies, and it was not only to lecture them about their personal responsibility, but it was just to come inside their sovereignty, which is the basis of everything. So they would not take responsibility only as a manager, but as a person in a whole.
Yes.
I hope I answered.
Yes, thank you, Martina.
I had lectures now six times, and I want to go on with this, with especially young people, and maybe kind of like we have on social responsibility ISO standards, like to have something like this in personal responsibility.
Yes, thank you. Just stay involved, please, Martina. Next slide, please, Tomislav. Thank you. Here we can see a job description. Maybe, Martina, you can comment somehow. What do you think about the part of what someone should work on? What is about salary? Something to ask, maybe?
Yeah, of course. So in this certificate and what I have been through with you, Anita, and with Matthias, we have like a lot of young people that want to do corporate social responsibility job description. So they just put a lot on sustainability programs. They just want to put this in marketing and building an image within this job. So I mean, I am a sociology in PhD, but a communication in undergraduate. So it is kind of a internal and external communication part. Like to have this person in a company, it's like to really start this interactive or intersectional work, like to put all these 3P, like profit, people, and planet, and to have somebody to really take care of these 3Ps. If that's what you want me to say, Anita.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to ask Vesna, because when we were doing those trainings with people, there was a question how to raise awareness within the company. And I think that the main role of the manager of CSR or sustainable development in the organization is to raise awareness among all the employees and other stakeholders of the company. What do you think about it?
Yes, yes, of course, and it is very important to not to give too much time for the employees which are not willing to do such things. It is very important to start with the employees which have already some ideas how to do this, how to do the social responsibility, and they are willing to participate. So this is very important, not to give too much effort to those who doesn't want this, because when we implement social responsibility in the company, there is also a cultural change in the company, and maybe some people are not prepared to change, and
Yes.
and therefore it is very important to have supportive people and to start with them.
Yes, thank you.
There's a crucial sentence I have learned from Martina's mother. I don't like it, but I can stand it.
Yeah, great. So I see there's.
If you are a manager and somebody comes with a complaint, your good sentence is thank you for disagreeing with me. This makes me broader in my view.
Yes, and here is very interesting, Jean-Philippe, information about the lack of alignment between personal responsibility and an organization's sustainability efforts, which was one of the findings of their Sustainable Leadership in Europe study conducted among 1,500 managers in Europe. So this link is good to see, I think. So thank you, Jean-Philippe. And there is also from Corina one input: responsibility of CSR manager may also include driving socially responsible innovation. It would be great to see CSR part of the business model as opposed to external to it. Maybe Matthias, you can comment because you are
CSR on its own is an innovation effort because it's a new idea which has not been fully accepted, but is being developed by new experiences from step to step. Its business model opposes the one which doesn't care how much it costs. But what is cheaper, having strikes or having satisfied workers? Having unsatisfied customers or happy customers? Because unhappy customers leave you, you lose your market, so you have to search for a new one, which is costly. So if you take the cost of having socially responsible behavior, including the one about the sustainability, and the one without it, you see very quickly, but not from the data in bookkeeping, that social responsibility is causing much less cost than the lack of social responsibility.
Thank you very much, Matthias. So we can see now also the salary amounts. For CSR beginners, there are lower amounts, and CSR leaders with few experiences, they earn more. And of course, CSR seniors, they can earn much more. So next slide, please. Education. We see that CSR managers can have undergraduate degree in any discipline or more, and fields of study are very different, from sociology to economics, human rights, and environmental engineering, and so on. Next, please. And training, there are different trainings, and someone can develop within the organization or make some trainings outside of the organization. And here is the source where we use some information about these topics now. Maybe someone would comment about the structure, where we can see CSR management structure. It's from source of Toshiba. We see that the position within the company, it's behind the president or CEO, and it's in the level of under the board of directors also. And there is a group of people who work on the CSR within the organization from different fields of work. So maybe someone would, of the speakers, like to comment this part?
Well, no one? Okay. I try to answer to Zhilin, or whatever the name is pronounced. assessing and measuring the impact of the course, their direct and indirect impacts. So we have to have a broader look to what counts, and the difference which my daughter has experienced in her courses on creativity promotion, it's very different who comes to the course, volunteers or those who are obliged to go. Right now she is running the 5th marathon of positive psychology. They got it for free, and they have 12,000 audience in Slovenia.
Yes.
Every Saturday evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have several questions or opinions now. Hussein wrote that interesting point with the young employees is in Netherlands, where they have a ranking of Sustainable Young 100. So please take a look at it. And G wrote, hello, do you have any examples of a company running a training course compulsory or optional for their employees on sustainability, the SDGs, as part of their onboarding process of CSR program? How do they assess and measure the impact of the course? So I would leave this question for discussion. Maybe someone would like to express something about it now?
Well, the missing link between environmental and social responsibility is obvious for different professions being involved. Those who have been trained to run nature have been trained to forget about humans and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think we have here colleagues who can say more.
Yeah, we will discuss maybe about this later. So Mariana wrote, thank you, Martina, and thank you, Jean-Philippe. You will look the things. So if other panelists agree that CSR and sustainable executive education, also individual training, will be key in current and future post-pandemic organizations. As social impact experts, how can we add value to changing, evolving societies? So maybe someone would answer to this question. If not, then maybe later Tomislav and other colleagues would say something. So I will go further with next slide, please. And I would like to give a word to Lucija Glavič. But before this, we see the second group of questions to discuss. What certificate socially responsible employer means, what is the process, and how to integrate this into the business. What example of interdisciplinary master study program in sustainable development can present Roberto, and ETSEQUA certified sustainability manager and social responsibility manager will be presented from Tomislav. So Lucia, next slide, please. You can talk now.
Thank you, Anita. Hello, everybody. My name is Lucija Glavič, and I'm from Equilib Institute, which is a non-profitable organization in Slovenia that works on field of CSR and human rights and so on. We do things like awareness raising, trainings, organize different events, but I think that our main products are the certificates that we offer to the companies. So we have 3 certificates at the moment that we offer for the companies, for the private and other organizations that can help them improve their corporate social responsibility. And today I would like to present very shortly our latest certificate, which is a socially responsible certificate. Employer. It is actually kind of the methodology is kind of an audit that we do in the companies. So we do the gap analysis in the company. What are they doing? What they should do? Where are the gaps and so on the field of social responsibility? But then there is also a part of consulting to the, for example, to the specific personnel in this company about how to integrate social responsibility in the company. So if we go to the next slide, this certificate is structured from 4 different areas, and that is why we call this certificate a socially responsible employer, because I know that CSR is very, very broad concept, is very holistic concept, but in this certificate, we mainly focus on employees, and so responsibility towards employees. As you can see, for example, one part is intergenerational cooperation. Then there is health and safety. There is work-life balance, and the fourth or the first part of the certificate is comprehensive addressing of social responsibility. So we still do say that holistic approach towards social responsibility is important. So one part is dedicated for that, but the other 3 are for the responsibility towards workers. But since we are talking about today, we are talking about training and so on. I would like to say a little bit about how this certificate, which I believe helps companies to educate their employees, to educate themselves better, so they can better do the activities on the field of social responsibility. For example, every company must do these mandatory supporting activities. And one of the very important activity is training for leaders. So the training for the heads of departments. This is very important supporting activity that must be done by the company. Why? Because in reality, in practice, we saw that companies really wants to be engaged in this corporate social responsibility. But for example, if they first meet this concept and if they want to implement social responsibility into the business, they usually, at first they think it will be easy. At first they think it will go easy, that they understand the concept. But when they start to do the activities, for example, just writing a sustainability report can be very hard and very difficult to do if the company, for example, doesn't have a CSR strategy, doesn't have a CSR organizational structure, and so on. It's very difficult to write a sustainability report, for example. And it's very difficult for the people who are responsible, for example, for this certificate, and for the people who are responsible for corporate social responsibility in the company to integrate social responsibility the best way possible, because they don't have a knowledge, and it demands time. And that's why we always, in the beginning of the process, we always ask the CEO or the directors, when we have a workshop with the top management, we ask them how much time and how much money in the end they will give for this topic, because if someone wants to educate about CSR and correctly implement CSR into the business, they have to have the knowledge, and that demands time and also money. But I would like to say that there are two important things when we are talking about trainings. One is professional competences. So right now I was talking about professional competences on the field of CSR. So someone must educate themselves about CSR, like, for example, go to the Anita's IRDO training. It's a very professional training about the methodology, the standards, and so on. But the second training, or the second thing that is also important, I see, it's awareness raising. So, for example, if you work in one company and the company has a specific culture inside, it's very hard to maintain corporate social responsibility culture. Or, for example, I will take the example of work-life balance. If you work among the people that have a specific culture, you can. It's very hard to change it and to maintain it, even if you have deep inside those kind of values. For example, you are compassionate, you do understand the need for work-life balance and so on. But you do work in a culture, in a business that is very professional, very end-orientated, so doesn't care a lot about work-life balance, and it's very hard for such a person to maintain, for example, this kind of culture. That's why it's very important for these for these people in company that are responsible for CSR to attend different events, or to go to look at other cultures, or to go to different conferences when we talk about corporate social responsibility or work-life balance and so on, because it's very important to be in this kind of circle. If you're always in one circle, then it's very hard to maintain this awareness in the highest level as possible. And I think this is very important.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucia. That's all from your side for now. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So next slide, please. I think that Roberto will present us how is organized Master of Sustainable Development program at faculty in Koper or University of Primorska. So Roberto, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anita. Hello to everybody. So I'm going to present the Master of Sustainable Development. It's 2 years course and I will just explain some specific topics regarding that master. We started planning that master already in 2010. At that time, there was no other master, I mean officially masters in sustainable development in Slovenia. And if you go and check, even today, you don't have a master, so you don't have a full master program delivered on sustainable development. You can find many different courses. They are going to deliver some part of sustainable development. And our idea then, and what we believe even today, is that instead to just give a course, just give a specific knowledge about sustainable development, we need really to give a broad knowledge about sustainable development. So that was the idea why we started with the Master of Sustainable Development, in order not just to give them a kind of knowledge about some economic situation or some management issues and so on, but that people need also to understand some, let's say, natural science, in order to understand all the issues related to the environment. As well, they need to understand what's going into society. So when we started to think about the master program in sustainable development, we found out that because we are coming from faculty of management, me and my colleagues, we found out that we don't have a proper expertise in all this area. So we started almost from the beginning that we need to deliver this course with some other departments and with some other faculties, like Faculty of Humanistic Studies, Faculty of Health Science, Faculty of Tourism, and so on. And if you go and see our program, how it's structured, you can find courses that are going from anthropology to green agriculture, to green economy. So the area that we are covering under that umbrella of the master program is pretty broad. I can say that these things makes our program very much different from other Bologna masters, because Bologna masters, most of the time, they're going deep in a specific area of knowledge. There was not in our minds, we didn't have in our mind that we need to go very deep in some specific area, but we really need to deliver a broad knowledge about sustainable development, because our students, we found out that our students have a lack of some particular knowledge relating to sustainable development issues. I can also say that every year we are enrolling between 15 to 20 students. And I can say that these students are very, very eager to have an impact on the society. So if I compare with my other students, they are going inside, let's say, standard management programs or marketing programs and so on. I can find that students that decide to follow a sustainable development program are very keen in order to tackle some issues relating to the society, relating to the environment. But sometimes they have this energy, they have this willing, but they don't still have a proper knowledge. And so that one was of the reason. It was that we believe that also, like at the faculty, like a university, we need to help these young people. We need to help students, even they are not always very young sometimes. Also, some other people are deciding to come and to enroll in this program, but that we need to help them to deliver really a good overall knowledge of sustainable development. Another issue that's very important for us is that we found that sometimes, in particular in some courses, people are very keen to sustain only one solution. Okay, so for example, they are going and they're trying just to sustain, for example, this kind of renewable energy methods or this kind of solution. We found out that inside the course we need really to give to the students an idea that still we don't have one optimal solution for all our problems. That sustainable development is really such a big and complex issue that we need to see and try to understand different alternatives, and that each of them has its positive and its negative impact. Just talking about the structure of the course, yes, we have 120 European credits points. The course is delivered in 2 years with the master thesis. That is the end of the master program. And we have 11 compulsory courses and 5 elective courses delivered in 2 years. And as I said, they are delivered by different faculties. And maybe just before I'm ending my presentation, I was looking before on some questions that was asking what is the important, what is the difference between the personal, let's say, contribution and what is the role of the society or the authority. I pretty much believe that authority needs to give a proper framework. It needs to give a framework in which business can work and how they can work. But after that, it's the issue of the organization or of the personal member of that organization, if they have proper knowledge in order to deliver something that is going to be good for the society, is going to be good for the environment, and at the end is going to bring a proper economic result. So from our point, it's very much clear that we need to have a system solutions that's going to be delivered by the authority, and then we need to have a proper expertise and knowledge of the person inside the company in order to deliver proper actions. Because if we don't know in which way we can deliver our strategy, in which way we can design our business models, and which way we can really have some business process delivered, then probably not enough framework will help us and probably will not give or achieve our goals. And another point is also that sometimes students are very eager to go for some goals related to the environment and the society, but forgetting that without an economic impact on the long run, you cannot follow this kind of solutions. At the end, I will say not on the top, but below everything, at the end, you need to have a positive economic impact in order that everything can be really sustainable in the long run. You cannot just short term, you cannot deliver something that's good for today, but something that can be really good in the future. Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry to interrupt you, Roberto. I know that you are a full professor at the faculty and university.
Yeah, I know.
And I know that professors like to talk a lot. And I would like to thank you for this input. It's very interesting. There are also several questions and answers going on in chat. I would like to thank you, all the participants and all the speakers, to talk via chat also. So it's a great session for me. And I would like to thank you all till now and to invite my co-moderator and CEO editor, Professor Tomislav Rozman, to present his view on the topic. So Tomislav, go ahead, the floor is yours. Thank you. We don't see your presentation now. I don't know what happened.
Hi everybody, I will just briefly show myself because I cannot run screen sharing and my webcam simultaneously. So hi everybody, my name is Tomislav Rozman and and I'm running a small consulting company. It's actually a family business, and it's for profit, and we are offering various mainly online courses for adult learners, for managers, and courses for in the field of sustainability and social responsibility are only a part of our portfolio, because honestly, if we would offer only this kind of courses, we will probably go bankrupt a few years ago. So we are offering a package of online courses, for example, for project management, business process management, financial management, and also social responsibility and sustainability management. So I will present briefly these online courses, these 3 courses, and I would also like to put some more emphasis on the latest development. So in the last 2 years, we are developing new course for teachers, which also includes some various interesting kind of learning resources. So until now, we only developed some presentations and textual learning resources, but lately we started to develop some videos and also educational games for kids, which cover some sustainability topics.
Okay.
Okay, I will now share my screen again, and I will briefly present these courses, which are targeted. So the target group are adult learners, lifelong learners, people or students who finished their studies from different fields and like to work in the sustainability or social responsibility field. And the majority of our courses are self-study with individual tutor support. So this is our special kind of learning methodology. So we are working individually with learners, and the core of our self-study online courses are practical assignments, which means that all learners they work on cases from their companies. For example, they prepare a social responsibility strategy for a company and similar. So our courses were funded, or the development of our courses were funded in various EU projects, lifelong learning and Erasmus Plus projects. And the mission of my company is to sustain these courses after the funding. There's no funding, you know, this kind of projects usually last 2 or 3 years. And after this period, there's no more EU funding, and my company takes these courses and offers them on the market. We've notified that, we saw that attendees of our courses are mostly people who want some career change, so who want to switch job roles, or who want to improve their CV, or want to switch to a completely different field of work. So let me briefly present the first course, which is the oldest course since 2011. It's a social responsibility manager course, which is run under the ECQA umbrella. ECQA is European Certification and Qualification Association. This is the organization which accredits this kind of lifelong learning courses, and also offers an exam and certificate platform. So in this course, we cover ISO 26,000 topics related to social responsibility. And like all of our courses, it takes 6 weeks to complete. I'd like to mention here that so our core core activity of our company is e-learning, that e-learning doesn't happen by itself, which means that we need to put in a lot of effort, coordination, guidance to our listeners, because for example, we had attendee who she needed more than a year to finish our 6-week course, but this is no problem because it's lifelong learning. All lifelong learners have different pace of learning.
Okay, Tomislav, sorry to interrupt you, we have only 5 minutes left. I know that you have several nice PowerPoints, more slides. So if you go further,
I will finish in 3 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
The next course is a Certified Sustainability Manager, and this course since 2015, and it covers more or less technical aspects of sustainability, corporate social sustainability management. And after this course was developed, we found out that we need one more basic course in the field of sustainability management. And that's why we started to develop, or we already finished with the development of a course for sustainability teachers, for the people who like to teach basics of sustainability to various groups, also kids. So we also that's also the reason why are we developing this kind of learning resources. And if you're interested, for example, how to teach kids how to sort waste, or how to manage energy in your house, or how much water is needed to produce your food, you can go to this our digital library. I will write down a link in the chat, and you can get these resources for free as now until the December, because the EU funding lasts until December. So I'm inviting you to check out these learning resources and tell us your opinion. So thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Tomislav, also for being co-moderator. And all those things that you were presenting today, they are in English also for English attendees at your course. Am I right, Tomislav?
Sorry?
Those courses that you invite people to are also in English, not only in Slovene language. So
it's basically in English, so we don't update Slovenian translations anymore, because we are our target groups are participants from EU countries. We also have some participants from India and Ethiopia, so we are developing further only in English.
Great, thank you very much. And I think, Roberto, there were some questions also for University of Primorska to make it international, online, and so on. Can you tell something about it?
Yes, exactly. There was a question if the program can go and be delivered online. As I wrote, there are some plans to go and deliver the course online, but we really strongly believe that this is such a kind of course. It's also a kind of making a group, making a community. And maybe we are just old-fashioned, but we believe that making community, it's easier if people are there and you can really talk with them physically, then maybe go online. That's probably the main reason why we still didn't decide to deliver the course online, because there are no other reasons except that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So next slide, please, Tomislav. Thank you. If we may somehow conclude now, if there is, or in previous times, there was mainly capital who was ruling our world. In the future, we have to think about personal responsibility, about our body, emotions, mind, and spirit, like medicine will at Indians. So maybe we shall have in mind much more. Next slide, please. Like, for example, SDG Summit is teaching us, and SDG goals and so on, that we have to have in mind environment, life, and earth, so people, planet, profit, and to be much more sustainable. But to be much more sustainable, it is necessary to have in mind what is our personal responsibility and what is not our personal responsibility. We are responsible, like Martina would say, for our words, behavior, actions, and efforts, mistakes, ideas, and other things that we are doing within our bodies, within our minds, within our organizations, families, nations, world. And we are not responsible for the things that others are doing, but we are having impact on what we are doing and others are doing. And about this impact, next slide, please. We can do much more like we did until now. So what we have in our minds for our values, they have impact on our minds, activities, and actions that we are doing. So we have also impact on our family, organizations, environment, society, and business. And there was one cartoon going through social media about this, that we are together strong, so we can compete with COVID-19 somehow, I think. And this is maybe also for the last discussion, because we are out of time. Maybe some final words from our speakers. I would like to invite you, and last slide, please. Tomislav, you can, yes. I would like to thank you for joining us today. This was my last opinion about what we have to do in the future. Thank you to all of participants to make chat within the session. And I would just like to invite you one sentence for each speaker to conclude this session. So if we can go to Mosaic view, Noemi, thank you for supporting us today with technical support. Tomislav, you can conclude with the presentation. And maybe, Matjaž, one last sentence you can express, please.
I found it much more interesting than expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matjaž. Tomislav, maybe you can talk now.
Yes, thank you. Firstly, thank you for inviting me, because marketing and dissemination, this kind of courses, it's really hard and difficult, and I really appreciate offering this platform for dissemination of sustainability and social responsibility courses.
Thank you very much. Lucija, maybe you can say something.
I would just say I'm very grateful to be in this environment. Yes, I'm very grateful to be in an environment that supports CSR. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Roberto, please.
Thank you, Anita, for that, and thank you to all co-presenters of this session. It was really a great pleasure to present our master program, and I hope that what we said will have a good and positive impact on the society in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vesna, you unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Vesna.
Thank you that I could be here. Thank you also Tomislav, because of him I was involved in the CSR, and also to Anita that we could develop together this certificate course. And I hope that this will help us to be stronger after this crisis. Okay, thank you.
Martina, unmute yourself, please, and your last words.
Yes, thank you. Well, my hope goes that this summit are not listening all the people that are already convinced in the need of CSR and personal responsibility, but that we tagged as many people that are still not in this group. And we tried to involve them and convince them to come on our great and beautiful path.
Thank you very much, Martina. I would also like to thank you, Tomislav, for inviting me to so serious project where we, with Vesna, gain certificate for trainer of social responsibility on international level. So I would like also to thank to CSR Europe for organizing this great event. I would like to thank all the speakers again, to Noemi, to participants via chat, and I hope that we meet someday once more. If not, just write to IRDO Institute. You can find on webpage or at this presentation our email, and I can connect you with speakers from today if you won't have any possibility to find them anywhere. So I would like to conclude this session now. I'm sorry to have lack of time to discuss more, but I think that we have to develop this kind of discussion in the future too. So I hope that CSR Europe or other platforms will be available to talk more about this interesting topic. So thank you for being with us in this session, and stay healthy and give love to yourself and to the others, please. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.